Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Fans of Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Paulie Price. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw. Alright, we heard from the man, Becky Lynch, who basically came out and explained what happened at Elimination Chamber match with Shayna Baszler, how she basically annihilated everybody in that match, and how Becky Lynch waited a long time to fight Asuka because she couldn't beat her, and, it took her so long to beat her. Shayna Baszler did it in like less than 3 minutes. So I mean that I did like how Becky came out and admitted that, and she also said, "Listen, also I'm a bitch, and don't forget I'm the bitch that runs this women's division." So I really love that promo. Definitely, it was good that she came out, got it off her chest. I really like when Becky comes out and says things on her own. To me, that didn't feel like WWE gave her any ideas. She just went out there and just did her thing. No gimmicks. I didn't see her in a stupid coat. Like, I like when she's just Becky. Becky is fine. We don't need any other gimmicks or anything else to make her watered down. Like right here, you can see this is the Becky that I like. That Kill Bill, let's fight, let's go, I'm the champion. If she gets too cocky, she might not be able to beat Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania. We're going to start off with the first match of the night, and that was Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza. Now, we've seen these matches before. This is another thing that I'm really not liking about Raw lately, especially that we're on the road to WrestleMania. I feel like we're more on the road to repetitiveness because it's like the same thing all the time. Listen, I love Rey Mysterio and I like Angel Garza. I don't know, I'm just kind of over it. But we did get to see Rey Mysterio get the win here over Angel Garza, which is something new. So at least that they didn't have these stupid repeats with cheating. Alright, we're getting retribution now for these matches. Hopefully this ends at WrestleMania and these guys go their separate ways, because I'm kind of getting tired of all these cousins fighting and relatives and all this in the Lucha family. It's just enough's enough with that. Yeah, I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good based on the skills that these guys had. The storytelling was great. I really do love Zelina Vega and everything that she does bring to the table. And I did like that Rey Mysterio got a win over Garza and can have a little momentum moving towards WrestleMania. Then we see Charlotte comes out and basically does her promo and says how there's no chance in hell that Rhea Ripley's going to beat her. And Rhea Ripley comes out and she goes, "What are you doing? You're in my home now. This isn't NXT. This is my kingdom." And basically Rhea Ripley finally does some physical contact and throws a right hand, knocking Charlotte on her ass. I mean, you can see Charlotte's wearing a dress. She wasn't prepared to fight, so she basically took that right hand and smiled and laughed, and so did Rhea Ripley as she walked and left the ring. But this was good storytelling for their match coming up. I definitely didn't feel a connection as far as like, oh my god, I can't wait for this. I felt like that. I really like Rhea Ripley. I just feel like sometimes, like, when she's on these big shows, she's kind of a little dry. I'm kind of feeling like she's still trying to get past the crowd as far as, like, being overwhelmed by it. I mean, come on. You have a person who's a champion, and she's always surrounded about 300 people. Putting them in 6,000 people is a big difference. And I'm seeing that through these promos and through these segments. So for me, like, it was cool. I'm glad that she definitely made some physical contact, and we got a little bit of that moving forward, but it definitely, something about it was off for me where I didn't get that 100% vibe. All right, now we're going to move over to the Bobby Lashley versus Zack Ryder match. Now, I don't got to say anything right there. You know who's going to win. I mean, this is a good chance for Bobby Lashley to stop getting beat downs and stop losing, and he needs to get on a winning streak, and he needs to get towards a title, because that's what Bobby Lashley is made for. Yes, I know they were doing this whole skit with Lana, but to me, it's like, we're done. Let's move forward Bobby Lashley, or just get rid of the guy, because honestly, you're just wasting the guy's talent. I want to see that guy in the ring. I want to see him dominate, and we did. We did get to see him do that to Zack Ryder. So for me, I did like this match. Unfortunately, it wasn't a long match, and there were some moments, but I did like it. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because it wasn't a long match, but I did like that they incorporated this storytelling for Bobby Lashley moving forward to WrestleMania. So after the Bobby Lashley match, we saw AJ Styles come out with the OC, and basically he's responding to the attack from The Undertaker at Elimination Chamber, which cost him the match against Aleister Black. Now listen, Aleister Black's got a win over the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. That's definitely causing AJ to definitely be irritable and lose some sleep on that because, AJ does not like to lose. And he challenged The Undertaker at WrestleMania for a match, one-on-one. And they're going to do a contract signing next week on Raw. So, we're getting close to 2 weeks to WrestleMania. We're getting there. I like that. Listen, a lot of people complain about The Undertaker wrestling. And for me, it's just like, listen, I understand it. I get there. I'm with you. But in a way, I'm not because, listen, if you're going to do it right with The Undertaker and retire him, you got to do it better than what they had planned. I don't know what they were doing, but if he fights AJ and he does well, I would say you have him go against The Fiend, and then The Fiend beats The Undertaker, retires The Undertaker, and now The Fiend will take his place because The Fiend is the only one that really disappears and comes back and forth. So technically, he has that superpower that The Undertaker has. So why not do it like that? So I feel like, listen, if he's gonna wrestle AJ, AJ's a phenomenal wrestler. He's gonna be able to put The Undertaker over. And at the end of the day, I think that if he does well, maybe one more match, and it would be with The Fiend at WrestleMania 37 at Hollywood. I think that'd be a cool way to end it. All right, now we're going to move over to the Drew McIntyre match versus Eric Rowan. This was pretty much thrown together. Another match really wasn't advertised. I knew Drew McIntyre was going to win. Again, another predictable match here. Just like the card for me at Elimination Chamber match. So I'm just kind of like, all right, I know that they're trying to, get Drew to that baby face and get the crowd behind him. We even see Drew McIntyre take the steel steps and smash the cage with the spider inside. I might have even saw some batteries fly out of that thing too. But honestly, for me, this was a quick match, and there's really not much I could say about it. For me, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I love Drew McIntyre. I'm psyched for him to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. We saw a promo with him, and let's see what happens moving forward. But for me, it's just another average match. Now we move over to the women's tag division. Finally, we see Asuka get annihilated at Elimination Chamber match. Finally, the Kabuki Warriors face off against Liv Morgan and Natalya. Very weird team, but I guess this was definitely something they threw together because of last night. The Kabuki Warriors pretty much did what they needed to do to get the win, but it was because Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan were on the outside kind of distracting Liv Morgan. And there was a moment where Natalya was getting beat down. She was trying to get that hot tag, and Liv Morgan was actually looking outside because Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan ringside were actually started to fight. And she went on the top rope and dove to the outside, taking out both women. Natalya was pretty much screwed, and the Kabuki Warriors get the win over Natalya and Liv Morgan. For me, I'm going to give that match 3 out of 5. It was very average. Again, another match that wasn't advertised just came about. I mean, it was a title match, but again, it was with a team that hasn't tagged ever, so, I'm not a big fan of that. Just 3 out of 5 for this match. All right, now we're going to move over to the Edge segment. Probably the best part of the freaking show. You see Edge comes out, and MVP was in the ring. Basically, he calls out Edge, and it's like, hey, come on, man, what's going on? And he's like insulting Edge. And Edge is waiting for Randy Orton to just come out of nowhere. And I like that MVP was insulting me. He even said, hey, you're not even into it. What's going on, man? What about your wife? And then Edge just turned around. You can see that he gave him that look. He turned around and immediately speared MVP, knocking him out. But as you see him spearing him and knocking him down, right behind from under the ring, here comes Randy Orton out of nowhere, just like we expected. And he kind of gets a grasp on Edge, but Edge realizes it and he's able to counter it and push him back against the ropes. And they both bounce off the ropes. And when he comes back, Edge hits an RKO on the Viper. The place popped. We were waiting for this. This was amazing. Great storytelling here. MVP, just that his little piece there helped, and it allowed that distraction for Randy. This was just great. For me, this was the best part of Raw, and it was just this one little piece. Other than that, this was not my favorite show. All right, now we're going to move over to Aleister Black and Seth Rollins. Okay, I was super happy about this match. I was like, all right, this is great. Aleister Black and Seth Rollins. Never happened before. And then Buddy Murphy's got to go in there and freaking get DQ'd because Seth Rollins was about to lose. And I'm like, why does this always happen? And then they went to a tag match. And the match was, it went on for quite some time. It was like a 10-minute match. And then they just ruined it. And then we wind up getting a tag match with AOP, the Viking Raiders, the Street Profits come in. And listen, it's nice when they do those things, but it's just not nice when they're doing this every freaking week, Do it like once a month or something, but don't do it back to back to back to back where you're constantly having these DQ matches and you're having a tag right after. I mean, listen, I know that the Monday Night Messiah is doing his thing and that's pretty much their gimmick right now, but I'm kind of getting tired of that DQ match. You have good quality wrestlers who don't need to DQ that match. They can actually fight. I mean, Seth Rollins doesn't need help. He was the Universal Champion. He beat Brock Lesnar twice. I don't get why, Murphy had to come in and do that. It just, he didn't hit the black mass. He wasn't going to lose. I just feel like that's just something that they just shouldn't have done. We see the tag match come about. The winners were Seth Rollins, AOP, and Murphy because Montez Ford went to the outside and he did a flip, taking out everybody, and he tried to crawl back in the ring. When he crawled in, Seth Rollins hit him with the stomp, got to 1, 2, 3. For me, I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 5 because I just didn't like that they were doing this a lot. That kind of killed it for me. And this pretty much was the end of the show. So being that it was like a half-ass main event, I really wasn't in love with it. But what are you going to do? All right, now we're going to rate the whole show. We're going to start with the ref rating. I'm going to give the refs a 5 out of 5. I thought they did a great job. I didn't see any issues or anything that I thought was out of line, so good job for the refs there. For the match card rating, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I really didn't like some of the lineups. For the production value, I'm going to give the production value a 4 out of 5. It was good. Little things that weren't big deals, but I definitely wasn't a perfect job on the production value for the show. For the overall show value, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I really didn't like the show. It was kind of like a repeat of everything that they've been doing. And I'm just getting tired of that, especially that's the road to WrestleMania. These shows should be hot and must-see shows, and they're definitely not that. They're just like repeats. So yeah, 3 out of 5 for this show. All right, thanks so much for watching the show. If you didn't like my ratings or review, I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a fan.